Vedanta is not only religion, it is the core of all religions. Let me explain that. Vedanta holds that in our truest nature, we are one with God. The famous Vedantic saying, Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art. Here, that stands for God. So our true nature, the true nature of all human beings is divinity itself. Now, there are religions which are God-centered. So there are many forms of Hinduism, Vaishnavism, Shaivism, Shaktaism, the worship of Vishnu, of Shiva, of the Mother Goddess, which are centered around the worship of God in different names and forms. Other religions too, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, they are all God-centered. So you believe in God, worship God in the hope and in the faith that in this life or after death you attain to God. There are other religions which seem very different, like Buddhism or Jainism or the Sankhya and Yoga traditions in Hinduism, where God is either not talked about at all or talked about just in passing. Those approaches, they concentrate on the self, where the search is not for God but for the truth within ourselves. The question is, who am I? So Buddhism, Sankhya, Yoga, even Jainism, they are religions centered around the truth about ourselves. What Vedanta does is, it puts them together. It finds common ground between these two very different approaches, the God-centered approach and the approach centered around the human self. What Vedanta says is, the truth about God and the truth about ourselves is one and the same. When you search for God, what we find ultimately is ourselves. And when we search for ourselves, what we find finally, amazingly, is God. So this is the core idea of Vedanta, and Vedanta holds this is what all religions are in essence doing. The language is different, the forms, the modes of worship, the rules they follow, the mythologies they believe in, they are all different, and that's wonderful. Variety is richness, and that makes our lives so much richer. But at core, this is what we are doing, a search for God, which is none other than a search for our true selves.